How did one episode of Pokemon give 600 kids in Japan seizures? Let me explain.
An investigation's underway in Japan into why more than 600 children suffered from convulsions and vomiting after watching a television cartoon program.
What is up, guys? Mike here. Welcome back to my channel. Make sure you thumbs up, subscribe, comment, all of the rest. Okay, let's get into this video. Okay, so like most kids that were born in the 90s, I was a massive fan of Pokemon. To be honest, I still am. I can't get over these guys. And of course, it wasn't just the video games that sort of started it all, but it was the Pokemon cards. I still have a huge collection of them, and the TV show, of course. And today's video is focused on the TV show, actually, which I used to love so much. The classic story of Ash Ketchum, who wants to be a Pokemon master and catch them all with his partner Pikachu and Misty and Brock by his side. This show was like every kid's favorite show back in the day. No matter where you were in the world, you knew these characters.
I will be a Pokemon master.
But guys, what if I told you that there was an episode of Pokemon that nearly ended it all? And this was before it even came to the West, okay? You may never have gotten the Pokemon show because of this one incident that nearly changed the franchise forever. This is seriously one of my favorite stories of all time. It happened back in 1997 when, yeah, the Pokemon anime had not been localized for the West and it was only airing in Japan. Keep in mind, this is when Pokemon is relatively new to the world. Like, everyone's still figuring out what it is. It's really, really popular and kids love it, but it's not what it is today. Like, it's quite new. And all of this goes down on December 16th, 1997, with an episode of Pokemon airing in Japan called Electric Soldier Porygon. Of course, there were 151 original Pokemon, and those are the ones I definitely have a soft spot for. And of those 151, one of them was called Porygon. Porygon is like this weird polygon duck kind of thing that is actually like a virtual Pokemon created by Team Rocket or something like that. Quirky kind of character, and I guess in the time since the first generation of Pokemon, it's ended up getting two evolutions, Porygon 2 and Porygon Z. And this episode of the anime was all about Porygon. That's why it's called Electric Soldier Porygon. In the episode, Ash and friends have to go inside a machine in order to like solve a problem at the Pokemon Center. And towards the end of the episode, Pikachu uses Thunderbolt, which is an interesting point, right? Because keep in mind, it was Pikachu who did this. And due to the animation, which had this strobe-like effect, this flashing strobe-like effect of Pikachu's Thunderbolt, at least 600 kids who were watching this show on TV in Japan got seizures, and more than 600 were taken to hospitals around Japan that day. I am not going to show the original footage here because I don't want anyone to have the same reaction, but I will show a quick slowed down version of what caused this mass seizure outbreak across Japan. And as well as having seizures, multiple children around Japan reported various side effects from watching this episode. And they included headaches, nausea, and just general dizziness if it didn't result in a seizure at all. And 2 children in Japan were hospitalized from this for over 2 weeks.
Porygon. これは第38話に当たるそうなんですけれども、このうち6時51分30秒から約
Remember, this is an episode of Pokemon, okay? This is supposed to be one of these kids shows that kids love. They wake up in the morning and watch it on TV or whenever it's on and they just love it. But suddenly, they're all being taken to hospital for having seizures.
Always thought it was a cute program that was fine for kids, but now I have to be careful about everything they watch.
This whole thing became local and worldwide news. It was dubbed in Japan as the Pokemon Shock, and it brought both Pokemon and Nintendo into the public consciousness in a big way, but also in quite a negative way. Shares for Nintendo plummeted on the Tokyo Stock Exchange because of this controversy, and the anime went into a 4-month hiatus. It didn't air for 4 months. This was a massive false start for this anime that was was so popular, and suddenly, because of this, it was in serious doubt. It also resulted in a huge reluctance of the West to adopt the Pokemon anime and localize it and dub it. Just think about this, guys. We may never have gotten Pokemon. We may never have known Ash Ketchum. And I think if it didn't come to the West because of this, which nearly happened, the franchise would not be what it is today. And as a massive reaction to this, a few things happened. First of all, the episode was never aired again in Japan. It was removed from rotation, and furthermore, it never aired anywhere else in the world. That means it was never dubbed into English and never aired in the US or anywhere in the West. I would hazard a guess it is one of the only episodes of the show that never got an English dub because of this. And remember what I said about Pikachu being the one to use the attack that had the strobe effect? Well, of course, him being the mascot of the entire series, they were never going to punish Pikachu in any way, but that's where Porygon got the short end of the stick. Because Porygon has never appeared in the Pokemon anime ever again. I actually Googled it and there are over 1,000 episodes of this TV show. And yeah, they never let Porygon feature in an episode ever again. And it wasn't just Porygon that was punished, but remember when I mentioned his evolutions, Porygon 2 and Porygon Z? They weren't allowed to appear in any episodes either. In a weird way, it's kind of like that Japanese thing of like bringing shame to your family. Like Porygon brought shame to the entire Porygon line of Pokemon evolutions, even though he never actually did it. And that was actually referenced by the Pokemon Company in 2020 in a tweet where they simply said Porygon did nothing wrong. Man, I love the sass so much. But they then deleted the tweet because it might have been a little bit controversial. And this incident became really well known in popular culture. It's actually been parodied both in The Simpsons.
Isn't this that cartoon that causes seizures? Wow!
And in South Park.
So the video game gave Kenny a seizure. Ew, this game rules.
And the entire incident led to some actual reforms in how animation was allowed to present strobe lights in Japanese television. It is quite a pinnacle event, but I think, as I said, the most important thing about this is how seriously it was taken for obvious reasons and how it potentially could have impacted Pokemon as a franchise, which is now probably the most profitable franchise in the world, but this really affected it. And I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want to have grown up in a world without Pokemon. I'm on your side, Porygon. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I really appreciate it. Hey, if you like videos on pop culture topics like this, I would love for you to subscribe and check out some of my other videos. If you like this video, you'll like a bunch of my others. As well as that, you can jump on my Patreon and support me there. I have a bunch of Patreons already, so if you enjoy my videos and you like my content output, it would mean a lot to me if you could subscribe to the Patreon and chuck a couple dollars my way. Let me know what you think is the best Pokemon in the comments below, or just comment Porygon. You know, help the algorithm find some more of my videos. And as well as that, you can also listen to my podcast. It is here on the screen right now, but it might be here. I never know which side it is when I edit it, so I don't know, whatever. But seriously, guys, thank you so much for watching and supporting my channel. My name's been Radio Mike. This has been The Inside of My Mind, and I will see you in another video.